symbolizes a person's repentance, why did Jesus went down to the water to be baptized in John when Jesus himself was sinless? And brothers and sisters, Jesus received the baptism from John in order to unite himself with humankind. He wanted to identify himself with us. He wanted to become one with us and to set a good example for those who had not yet received the waters of baptism. That's why Jesus asked for baptism from John. He was sinless, yet he wanted to be one with us in our humanity. And brothers and sisters, that would not be surprising. Jesus came down to the water to be baptized because Jesus himself came down from heaven in order to become man, to become one of us. During the early life of the church, the sacrament of baptism actually had a different name. It was not called the sacrament of baptism, but it was called the sacrament of initiation. Initiation because in baptism a person is being initiated to a new group, to a church, and baptism was a prerequisite in order for one to become a member of the Catholic Church. That's why it was called before the sacrament of initiation. And for years, for centuries, it remained to be called like that, the sacrament of initiation. Also because in baptism, a person is being initiated into a new life of grace. Why? Because during our birth, all of us inherited the sin of Adam. That's why we have the original sin. And in order to wash away the original sin and get back the sanctifying grace each of us needs, we need to undergo baptism. So baptism initiates a person into a new life of grace. And this particular teaching has been very prominent, especially during the Middle Ages. In the Middle Ages, a long debate was being made because during the time, there was still no practice of infant baptism, meaning only adults were candidates for baptism. And so there was a question, if only adults are to be baptized, how about the little children? Why? Because the doctrine about the original sin states that original sin actually removes from a person sanctifying grace. What is sanctifying grace? Sanctifying grace is our ticket to heaven. Without sanctifying grace, we can never enter heaven. And one can take away the sanctifying grace, original sin, and mortal sin. So meaning if a person commits mortal sin and he dies after committing so, he goes straight to hell. He cannot be saved because sanctifying grace is lost. And it's also the same with original sin. The question was being stated, how about the infants, the little children who could not be candidates for baptism? How about if they die before receiving the sacrament of initiation? Will they go to hell? And because of that, the church changed the tradition of baptizing adults only and introducing infant baptism. That's why we now have children being baptized, because that is an answer to the question. So if anything bad happens to children, they're already baptized, they're safe to go to heaven. So my brothers and sisters, the sacrament of initiation has become available to infants. That's why we have infant baptism. And so, from our own baptism, we continue to strive hard not to commit sin, especially mortal sin, in order to keep within ourselves the so much needed sanctifying grace. And actually, baptism ushers in Because of baptism, we become children of God. We become adopted children of God. And this is an indelible mark that the sacrament of baptism leaves in our souls. Indelible meaning, when you are baptized, your being a Christian, your being a Catholic remains with you forever. It cannot be erased, even if you transfer or change your denomination or you transfer to other religions. That's why I always hear people asking, Father, I was baptized a Catholic, then I transferred to other religion. Now, I came back to my senses, and I am now deciding to go back to Catholicism. What will I do? Will I be baptized again in order to re-enter the Catholic faith? The answer is no, because your baptism, the baptism that you received from infancy, is still valid and continues to be valid until death, even though you transfer to other religion. So the solution is to go confession. You confess your sins. And after that, you are being accepted. You re-enter the Catholic religion, the Catholic faith. And brothers and sisters, baptism gives us an indelible mark, a special mark of being adopted children of God. You know, one time I was assigned to another parish, this incident happened. There was a Filipina who married a foreigner, and her husband was not a Catholic and never intended to become a Catholic. He hated anything Catholic. He only loves his wife. So they got married in the Philippines, and after getting married, they returned back to the States. And in the States, he bore a son. The mother was very Catholic, really wanted her son to be baptized, but she knew very well that her husband would never allow that, because he would never want their son to be baptized. But then fortunately, the opportunity came for her. It was a time of vacation. So the mother, together with her son, spent vacation in the Philippines without her husband, without the father of the child. So the mother, after arriving home, she immediately went to the parish and arranged a secret baptism for her son. And so her son was baptized and became a Christian. Then they went back to the States. Unfortunately, the husband sooner discovered their little secret, because he saw the baptismal certificate of the child. And he was very, very angry. He was so angry that he sent us a letter. He sent a letter to the parish, and then together with the photocopy of the baptismal certificate of your son. And he was so angry, and he said, erase every detail of my child's baptism from your registry book. I do not want, I'm not happy he was baptized, and it was against my will that my son was baptized. Erase every record of him from your parish registry book of baptism. But then they never do that. Why? Even though you erase every record, it would never delete and erase the identity of the child being a baptized Christian, because baptism and the indelible mark will always be attached to our souls until death. My brothers and sisters, in baptism, we become Christians. And that is the problem that people are facing today. Many baptized Christians today are facing an identity crisis. Identity crisis because they are Catholics, they are baptized Catholics, but they really do not know who Christ is. They're not familiar with Christ, they are not close with Christ. They are not familiar with the sacraments, they do not receive the sacraments that were instituted by Christ. And they do not acknowledge the high hierarchy, the leaders of the church. How can you become a real member of the church that Christ established when you do not know the founder, who is Christ? When you do not have time or make time for prayer? The problem of people today is that they are Christians only in name, but not indeed, not in life. And that is still a strong challenge that each baptized Christian is facing the modern time, the modern world. How can we practice our being baptized? How can we practice and put into action our identity as brothers of our Savior? In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.